Hello everyone, I'm Umesh Rana and welcome back to Programming Fields. In the last video, we went through every lifecycle hooks including mount, boot, updating, updated, hydrate, dehydrate, rendering, rendered and exception. And we saw each one actually do something real. What we didn't cover is why any of that is necessary in the first place. So today's video answers that. It is a bit more conceptual than usual, less typing, more understanding. But this is genuinely one of the more interesting things about how Livewire works behind the scene, and it will make everything else in this series make more sense. So if you are finding this series useful, subscribing helps more people find it, and sharing it with someone else who is learning Livewire helps too. So let's get into it. So here is the honest description straight from Livewire's own documentation. Using Livewire feels like attaching a server-side PHP class directly to a web browser. Properties update instantly. Methods run the moment you click something like increment or decrement. It feels alive, permanently connected. But it is not. What is actually happening is much simpler. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Livewire renders your component to plain HTML. It listens for events in the browser, just like click. We typed something here in this input field. When something happens, it sends a normal Ajax request to your server. And here is the part that matters most. That request is completely stateless. Your server does not keep some long-running PHP process alive in memory, quietly waiting for your next click. It has no idea who you are or what you clicked last time the moment that request lands. So if there is no memory between requests, how does the counter component remember it is currently at 6 or 5? That is the entire problem Hydration solves. So after every single request, right before Livewire sends its response back to the browser. So let me open the developer console first. I will inspect it and I will jump to the network tab. Let me zoom in this window again. I will refresh this browser first. Let me clear these all consoles. I will be stay active on network tab for Ajax request. And firstly, we can see in this component we have counter value initialized with 2. We have two action buttons, increment and decrement. So firstly, I will click on increment. Now when I clicked on increment, this counter value got increased from 2 to 3. And parallelly, we saw one Ajax request. Here we have this update Ajax request. If we'll check out this request, this is something sending as livewire-some ID/update. Request method is post and this status code got completed. So we have this success as 200. In the payload, if we'll see, we have something as token and components array. If we'll expand it, we have some array of objects. And lastly, we have snapshot object, in which we can see some JSON data is going to server side as a payload. Now I will jump to the preview. Inside this, we have assets, components, and something array and effects, some HTML, returns as null, and again we have a snapshot. So what is this payload? What is this component, array, token, and this response here? What is coming from server side? So when I clicked on this increment button, Livewire sent one Ajax request to the server side, and in the payload of this Ajax request, it sent these data like token and some components, a snapshot. And in the response, when this request got completed from the server side, in the response itself, this returned some HTML data, snapshot and all, and this response got rendered here. So this component got updated. So once the request has been processed, Livewire sends its response back to the browser. It takes what is called a snapshot of your component And this is exactly what the Hydrate hook we covered last video is your window into. But let's look at what that snapshot actually contains here. If you see, this is genuinely just JSON, and it is built from two pieces. A state, which is just your component's public properties, and their current values. So if we'll check out and the response here we will be able to see it properly. Inside components, we have a snapshot, right? In the snapshot, we have some data and we have this updated state value, which is counter. So this is like property which we defined in our counter component. So here we have this counter property defined as public with initial value 2. And when we clicked on this increment button, we incremented this value by 1 here, correct? So now if we'll check out the payload first, and inside this payload, if we'll expand snapshot, so in the snapshot, we have some data which sent from component to server side. And in this, we have this initial value of that counter property as 2. We have some memo. In this, we have some ID. And this is name of the component. We have this path, method as get, release, and we have some children which is empty, scripts, assets, error, these all things are empty. So the most important thing is to notice here is counter. So the initial value of counter was sent to server side as 2. But in the response, if we checked this snapshot again, here we have data, and in this the counter value got increased by 1. So the latest value changed to 3. We have the same memo ID and these all things with checksum. Now alongside this snapshot, we have some HTML rendered here. So in HTML, we can see we have div wire ID. So this has generated some dynamic ID on this particular layout. We have component name as counter, and this is the actual view of HTML, whatever we have created inside this counter view. So we have this div class flex item, and if we'll check out to the browser, we have the same div here, flex item center, justify center, padding top 10, gap 2, and these all HTML rendered here. Okay. Now, if we'll scroll here to the right side, we can see this has updated the entire div with the latest value. Meaning we can say this has re-rendered this entire component of counter with the updated value when we performed click of this increment. So at the very first, it sent one Ajax request when I performed increment click. And in that Ajax request of the payload, it sent the initial value of counter as 2. Now after incrementing it from the server side with this logic, this re-rendered this entire component view with the updated data. And here we saw memo, correct? This one, memo. So we have a state and memo here. So that is the entire memory of your component between requests. Not a running process, just a small piece of JSON, and this JSON gets embedded directly into page HTML. Now I will open the page source of this entire HTML. So I will simply right click on this page and I'll click on view page source. Now inside this, if I will scroll down, this is Livewire styles and scripts. So firstly, let me scroll down, and here we can see in the body div, we have some attribute added as wire snapshot. So this wire snapshot sitting right on the component's root element, because here we have this body and this is our div, which is the root element of this entire component. Perfect. So this root element with a full JSON blob is inside this. So inside this snapshot, we can see we have the full JSON data which got updated in this. We have this component ID and this is component name. So this wire ID is a unique identifier for this exact component instance on this page. This is genuinely everything Livewire needs to rebuild your component. Not magic, not a persistent connection, a simple JSON string sitting in your HTML, the same as any other attribute. Now again, let's click on increment and look at what actually gets sent to the server. Same network tab we opened back, but this time let's actually look inside the request again. So now here in the payload first, if we'll check out the components, now we had the previous value of counter as 3, whatever we received in the first request as a response, this one. So this time on next click, this sent that previous value as a payload here with counter, and here we have this memory ID basically. So this memo ID is same in both payload, and in the response, whatever this snapshot has been returned, this has updated in that component root element. So when the response returned from the server reads that snapshot, rebuilds a real PHP object from it using Hydrate, runs increment functionality, and takes a brand new snapshot with Dehydrate before sending its response, count now at 4. So this actually explains something we ran into directly while building last video's example. Why updating and updated only fires. So in last example, we covered lifecycle method in which we discussed all these lifecycle methods, right? Mount, boot, updating, updated, hydrate, rendering, rendered, dehydrate, and exception. Updating and updated only fire for changes coming from the client side, just like wire model. So that's why we added one input field here, and we bound this wire model directive, right, in order to trigger that updating and updated lifecycle hook. And this won't trigger for a property your own action method changes with plain PHP. You can think about what is actually in that request payload. So in the payload, we have a snapshot and which method to call when you use wire model. So now let's take an example of this one. So this time I will try to increase this value by 1, and we have another Ajax request. And in the payload, if we'll check, we have calls object. In this we have method as $commit, params empty, metadata as model.live, which is wire model.live attribute basically. Inside this we have some metadata, method, and params only. We have this a snapshot. So in the snapshot, this sent the entire data as a payload, whatever we have defined as property or attributes here in that component. And in the updates, we have this progress percentage value which got changed from 0 to 1. So in this has added one additional payload attribute as progress percent which got changed, because this lifecycle hook as updating and updated, this triggered only using this wire model directive. So that's why this included progress percent key, because we bound this progress percent attribute here on this wire model.live attribute. Perfect, which is defined as public here, and we are just increasing that value directly by entering or by increasing that number. So here the browser is explicitly telling Livewire the user wants this specific property changed to this specific value. That is a distinct trackable instruction Livewire can intercept. When your action method changes a property internally, Livewire only ever sees call this method. Whatever that method does with PHP afterward is completely invisible to the hydration process. And there was never an update instruction to intercept in the first place. So that is not a limitation, it is just a natural consequence of how little information actually travels in each request. Now one more callback. We talked about how public properties get sent to the browser. Now you have seen exactly where that state object inside wire snapshot. That state object inside wire snapshot is a direct readable copy of every public property on your component sitting in plain view source. Nothing hidden, nothing encrypted by default. So this is exactly why we said never put anything sensitive in a public property. It is not a hypothetical risk. You just watched it happen in a component you built yourself, because public property will be visible here in the snapshot itself. In this, we already created some protected properties as well, just like words per minute. Perfect. But in this snapshot of payload, we want to be able to see that property as words per minute. Now a quick honest note before we wrap. Not every PHP value converts to JSON cleanly. Things like collections or carbon dates, Livewire has a more advanced system under the hood for handling those things. So they survive the snapshot process correctly too. That is a genuinely deeper than we need to go today. Just know it exists and the official documentation covers it. If you ever hit a case where a more complex property type is not behaving the way you would expect. So no persistent connection, no PHP process quietly waiting between clicks, just a stateless request, a JSON snapshot living in your page HTML. And Hydrate and Dehydrate rebuilding and resaving that snapshot on every single interaction that we already saw here on increment plus this increment from here. So the illusion of a live component is genuinely just this done well. In the next episode, we are covering the other half of this same idea, how Livewire actually updates the page's HTML without losing whatever you are doing at the moment. Just like typing in an input field or you scroll position here, it is called morphing, and it is the region Livewire feels instant instead of glitchy. If this video helped you understand what is actually happening under the hood, just subscribe to Programming Fields channel and share this video with someone else learning Livewire who has been treating this as pure magic. I'm also running a Laravel 13 series parallelly at the same time. So if you need, don't forget to check out that too. So once again, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next episode.